state of the industry, namely about Bioware. What else we got? Ubisoft, Midnight Society. We got fucking multiverses shutting down. It's wild out there. But the main thing we want to talk about, obviously, is the studio. So let's talk about Bioware first and how they try to hide their firings. Which, again, this is going to be a strategy that I think we're going to see as time goes on. I'm almost positive we're going to start seeing more and more of this, like, kumbaya, everything's fine. People are just being moved to other, sections of the company. We're totally not firing most of the people out there, kind of a thing. What did you guys think when you saw that Bioware statement? Because I feel like we all kind of called it when they dropped that. I'm trying to find a statement. If anybody has it, link it. But that statement that they had put out about the Edmonton studio and how they're moving other people to EA or other parts of EA. What did you guys think?
Was that Bioware statement or was that EA statement? I don't remember.
It was Bioware's blog.
Bioware, okay.
I got it on my website. I'll just link it. Hold on a second.
Yeah, link it. I'll bring it up. But what did you guys think?
Website. I got it on the gaming website.
According to a hater, I apparently employ a bunch of people to work on my website. I didn't even know about this. So
where's my fucking
paycheck? To be fair, they're not people; they're Haitian migrants. But
same difference.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go one at a time. We're gonna go one at a time, so we don't cut each other off. I don't want to see Atreus fucking melt down, pretend like he's paying attention. Let's start off with Atreus.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I thought about was Jeff Grubb. You know what I'm saying? My first thought was Jeff Grubb and how possibly I believe that this is the industry trying to curb people like Smash JT. If everyone remembers, it was Smash JT and Grums who reported on the fact that Corinne Bush had left the building. Okay, not only did she leave the building, but there was a rumor. It's funny, they reported it as rumor that Bioware Edmonton would be closing. Now, Jeff Grubb came out, stole the story, and then rejected the premise of that studio being closing. Now, remember that the person on the inside was saying there was rumblings of the studio closing. This could have been that person hearing things about just any sort of negative speak about the studio. Doesn't necessarily mean it would have been closing, but it could damn sure be something like restructuring, you fucking morons. And you don't hear anything from Jeff Grubb like well, I guess they didn't close the studio, but they're restructuring it. It's the same goddamn thing. And I think this is them trying to, because they know the last thing they want is the entire industry is for YouTubers to get more credibility than the journalists themselves, because they can't control the narrative if you have these wild west YouTubers. I mean, think about it. Kotaku has a bunch of journalists that they could control, basically. You know what I'm saying? Alyssa Mercante says she got fired allegedly because of her anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semitism,
yeah. So obviously they are
the only good thing about her,
right? And so wait, what? Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that it's all a cycle of control and controlling the narrative, controlling the influence. Well, YouTubers getting more credibility than journalists in the space is not good for anyone in that industry, I suppose. And so of course they don't want to come right out and say, yeah, by the way, that Smash JT guy was right. We're actually closing the studio. We're restructuring. So to me, it all means the same thing. It just vindicates what he was saying.
Absolutely.
All right. Pass off to Lumi. Lumi, what do you think about this?
This was honestly a long time coming, because people knew that BioWare was not doing very good whatsoever in terms of their recent games. And honestly, they're just saving face when it comes to the vast majority of their studio being pushed off to other places. And I honestly think this is just their last ditch effort of trying to make a successful game before they're either just completely sold off or shut down. I have very little faith on how the next Mass Effect is going to be, but I will keep my expectations very, very, very low.
I actually disagree with that, but I'll save that for later.
Well, Cassie, what do you think?
Honestly, I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner. The fact that Dragon Age the Veilguard was even allowed to come out in the state that it was in, it is a testament to just how the industry is crashing in on itself. Like you cannot continue to sustain. Like the AAA industry is not sustaining. Um, Having these games in development for 10 years only for them to have these insane inflated budgets of games that nobody wants to play. People don't want to play this shit. People wanted to play a Dragon Age game. They didn't want to play Veilguard. They need to stop making video games that people don't want to play just because there is a long-standing franchise name attached to the title doesn't mean that it's a game that gamers want to play. And nobody cares about these companies anymore. No one feels bad for these game developers. You can try and hide that, the layoffs and whatnot, but everyone knows what's happening. You can't have game after game continue to fail and oh well, we're just restructuring. We know motherfuckers is getting clapped. Like you could try and hide it. We know that they know that they have no more friends in the space. Like nobody cares anymore. Either deliver good games or we kind of just at this point cheer in your demise, and that's what they're trying to curve. I guess give us less of a a payoff at the end, right? But we know what's happening.
Right. Or even an opportunity to do it. Leon, what are you thinking?
All right, so I'm gonna take this in a weird direction, but I want y'all to stick with me.
Shocker.
Recently, we had that. We had that. Well, no, I don't think it's a bad take, mind. It was just something I think a lot of people thought about. So we had that Mr. Beast Games show that hit Amazon, right?
Yeah.
It was the second highest viewed of anything on Amazon in 2024. Amazon and Netflix have now both come out saying they want to start doing far more work with influencers and content creators. So we're in a space where Hollywood is embracing YouTubers while the gaming industry is rejecting them. Like, in what world do we think that Hollywood would be catching on to the drift before while the gaming industry is still floundering? That is showing how far behind they still are in this game.
They're desperate for relevance.
I think that's because to answer that, and I know there was other people that wanted to go. That's because Hollywood is much more executive driven than it is creative driven. I mean, you got people behind the camera, yes, you got directors, yes, you got actors, yes, but for the most part, that executive behind it, they're depending on who it is, they have their hands in pretty much everything. I think a lot of these executives in the game industry, I mean, is Lemmy sleep again?
Oh my god!
You'll be right back at Chaz. Carry on.
Anyway, you were cooking. Go for it. Keep going. Keep going.
You were boring her.
When it comes to the developers in the game industry, well, they're actually making the game. Like, yeah, you have voice actors that come in, but nobody gives a fuck about the voice actors as much as they give a fuck about the people making the game. And so when most of those people are actually activists, then of course I'm not surprised by that. And then those people, they move up and they become, executives themselves. I think the movie industry is more wide open. They make space for conservatives, despite the fact that they don't, really make that open like that. I mean, we know there's a lot of conservatives in Hollywood, and they've been very open as of recently, which is why most of us, all of us was really talking about Hollywood this time last year, a little bit before that. Now we all talking about games because Hollywood then low key shut the fuck up.
Well, I think that's different though, because Hollywood, they've been doing that shit for damn near a decade at this point. With the virtue signaling BS, and so they've already seen that shit doesn't pay off. It doesn't pay the bills, so they're shifting away from it. You got to remember, games take a long time. A lot of this shit that's been in development since like 2019, 2020. So we still got a bunch more like terrible games that are going to be coming out in the next few years because it takes so long to adjust. So when you see these companies go, oh, like the dudes for Lords of the Fallen going, oh, we're moving away from DEI, we're moving away from woke or whatever. That's because they're developing their game right now. Like they're just now starting to develop their game. There's other games that have been in development since 2020, 2021 that still need to come out and they didn't have the time to adjust. So I don't think those two things are the same. And then also you got to remember we are in a culture shift right now, right? So like if we have games that are being developed right now, like in like the next 3 to 4 years, those games aren't going to exhibit the same kind of things like the ones that came out this year and last year did. So, right? God damn it! What is wrong with y'all, bro? I be cooking and y'all be making me laugh.
You were cooking. Why? But you're cooking.
Y'all keep making me laugh. God
I'm
damn it.
sensing a pattern here. This is twice now with two black panelists.
Sorry, I knew that was going to distract you. I'm sorry.
But I say all that to say that, I kind of agree with Atreus to a certain extent that the next Mass Effect won't be like Dragon Age the Veilguard, but I still don't think that it's going to be the thing that's going to save BioWare because they've had too many flops on their hands. I kind of see it like a Ubisoft.
Will they actually get time to make it?
Yeah, you have to consider if Mass Effect is even going to come out at a time, how many years from now?
Like get fully funded that way. I mean, they say that it's all hands on deck. So, and it's been in development for 4 years.
Well,
Since 21. Since 21.
But yeah.
Yeah, like concept phase, I'm sure art and whatnot, very limited, like the very limited stuff.
Well, they did have it start back then, but it shifted when they decided to do a different dynamic shift at the studio where they were like, okay, Dreadwolf is a shit show. We need to all hands on deck this to make sure it gets out because this is 3 years ago, already 7 years into this, already scrapped it twice. This is the third scrap, potentially fourth scrap. And to I think it was Atreus that was saying, or Cassie, one of you guys, that was saying that the game wasn't good when it came out, but they just had to get it out. Like it was at the like if you are one of the executives of BioWare, you can't go to EA and be like, hey, we need to like scrap it again and start again. Like they'd be like, bro, 10 years. Get the game out the fucking door. I don't care what it looks like. Get it out the door. This thing is becoming a money pit for us.
A shit show. It's an absolute shit show.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so I would agree with that.
So they got. Well,
don't worry, it's not the midnight going to save Microsoft.
Jesus. Yeah.
Shut up, Leon.
Finish though. I'm a South the Midnight fan. I'll be playing it.
It's because you see yourself in the game. That's why.
So they got it out the door. Mass Effect. I'm hopeful because they do have a lot of the original team to get it back to what Hypnotic praised. I still need to play the original. I know, sorry, but the original team on it is something that is hopeful for fans of the original series. But
you really don't play games.
You Smash don't play games. Yeah.
Have you played Chrono Trigger to the end? Have you played Secret of Mana? Have you played Final Fantasy 3?
Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross.
Oh, you talk about these old ass games. You play Red Dead 2, Smash?
I played it. I've not beaten it.
Okay, get out of here, man. We're not listening.
Anyways, so just finish my thoughts real quick.
I never finished it either.
Smash, did you ever play Super Mario World?
Dude, that's
hell yeah.
That's probably my favorite Mario of all time.
Pokemon Stadium on the 64.
Let's smash finish.
Absolutely.
So what my insider was saying about the dynamic shift of the company culture right now is exactly what Atreus was saying, is they are afraid to give YouTubers credit to the point of changing the words so that it doesn't sound like what I said it is, even though that's what it is. Now the team is still theoretically there. Like they still have the office open and they still have some people there. So the rumor that I claimed has not officially come to fruition yet, but they've laid off a substantial amount of people. The entire writing team is gone. And other people, I think it was like 80 people on the team, and they laid off 7 plus 2 editors plus additional people that I'm not sure of. So a substantial percent of what the team was is gone. And my insider was saying that on top of that, moving forward, there are rumblings right now that they might move the rest of the team off-site remote work and shut down the office. And that rumor is still active right now. So Mass Effect is still being worked on by them, but it may not be worked on by them at the office that they're working at right now.
Got it. To try to save like money from retail space and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Because they don't have the money to keep blowing on it. And the other thing, Mass Effect 5, if you count Andromeda as 4, I guess. Mass Effect 5 most likely will be the last game out of BioWare, I would imagine. And then they're going to disperse the team to other parts of EA and shut down BioWare. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Just the
they got to get one last one out just so EA can say they have it in their folder. They also just want to use it to pad their EA Play Pro. They make these developers make these video games just to pad their subscription service, just to say they have content, 100%. to keep people subscribed.
What you're saying is it's not going to have a mass effect on the industry.
Can you kick this nigga? Can you kick him out of here?
Will, the fans, what are you thinking? You haven't spoken yet. What are you thinking?
Oh, I mean, it's just the inevitable conclusion or the next stage in what's been happening, the closures and kicking people out. At first, I thought that, it was going to be a bloodbath of people who genuinely love what they do and devs are getting fired, but it does seem to be affecting the activists more than the actual game devs who actually love gaming. So I'm glad to see it. It's just inevitable. It's like Kata was saying, it takes so much longer to make a video game than it takes to make a movie. So we're not actually going to see any real results in the actual products for several years. But this had to happen. It's inevitable. When enough games don't sell, you won't make money. You just basically have to clean house. I'm just happy.
Can I know other people haven't talked yet, but Will, just to piggyback off what you just said there, what's going to happen to the people that got let go that are asking around for jobs right now? Like, hey, writer for 19 years at Bioware, writer for 7 years, and they just had failure after failure after failure. Any company that hires them, it's the same thing with Corinne Bush. Like, everyone's gonna be like, where are they going? We got to watch this game just so we can laugh at it, because we know exactly what's going to follow with it.
That failing upwards.
It's just
thing,
Gamergate was right. That's it. Gamergate was right. It always was. It's right again. It's never going to stop being right.
The industry is telling these people to get the fuck out. It's telling them that, and they're like, no, I got to swim upstream against the current and prove everyone wrong that I'm better than this. And it's like, okay, but you can either take a hint or you can.
That's why they fired
natural selection. Natural selection is coming home, and it's very fucking welcome at this point.
That's why the industry has fired so many black people, because they got to swim upstream and
Is everybody fucking drunk today or what?
Smash, in the industry, right? Like, it's with any kind of job industry. It's not what you know, it's who you know and who you can blow. So if these people have connections,
good job,
real quick,
getting clipped.
On that point, real quick,
Where's
that's why they hate YouTubers covering this, because we are keeping tabs on everything. We got the string tied to the tax of where they're going and what they're doing, and they're like, get the fuck out of here with that. You're not supposed to follow with these people.
There's so many of us, or people like us. There's hundreds and hundreds of people who are there are way more of us. Exactly. # more of us. And everyone is actually passionate about the industry, actually dedicated to keeping tabs on what the hell is going on in the industry, because we're the ones who love it. We're the ones who give our money to it. We're the ones who are the customers, and ultimately the customers are always right. Now there's a fucking slightly organized armada of fucking YouTubers who are doing the job that the journalists refuse to do. It's just natural selection. It was inevitable. It was always going to happen.
Brian hasn't had a chance to speak yet. Brian, what are you thinking?
Well, I'd just like to say, in regards to BioWare, 3 project failures in a row. It shouldn't be in business, folks.
Right.
3 failures in a row. There shouldn't be a Mass Effect 5, folks. A company that has failed constantly and consistently.
To be fair, there shouldn't have been a Mass Effect 4.
I know, but one project failure you can get away with, especially.
Ryan, wasn't someone saying there was a 4th game, like it's an online game that got canceled that never came out? So it's technically 4 games that they had.
Four projects within Dragon Age 4. But in terms of Andromeda, Anthem, Veilguard, that's 3 failures in a row. Now, one project failure you can understand, riding on a high after many years of many successful games financially. But 2 and then 3 in a row, it's game over. You shouldn't exist.
Yeah, and if they do release what I said, though,
well, if they do release another Mass Effect game, in my view, it's just going to be BioWare's version of Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's going to be the last stand that ultimately kills or disintegrates the company.
Imagine the pressure at BioWare right now, where they're going in every day thinking they might actually just be canned, and they'll cancel the project and be like, it's just not happening.
I mean,
that's a great. No, go ahead, Cassie, go ahead.
EA has shut down great studios for fucking up far less. Look at Visceral Studios. Like, they did so much less and got canned. The old Battlefront studio back in the day. EA honestly, in terms of publishers, they have had a bloodbath of studio closures.
Oh, you see
BioWare
that
is
meme with
so-
the graveyard with all the
Yeah.
studios they've closed?
Yeah,
Access,
BioWare is-
Bullfrog, like you go through each of them.
BioWare is so lucky to have had 3 flops and still exist. And you know, the sad thing is no one's gonna feel sorry for BioWare, despite their great history. Nobody remembers that anymore. It's like, what have you done for me lately? And lately, I mean by the past fucking 15 years, brother. Like, when like, it's crazy to say that. The only people that are gonna feel sad are the cope artists and the 5 game journalists that are still writing news articles.
Exactly.
But
And they've shut down Visceral,
that a little
Bullfrog,
bit.
Origin, Westwood, Black Box, Pandemic Games, all
Westwood
these
was good.
No, to counter a little, like what you're saying about BioWare specifically, about EA, Ubisoft, that's all entirely correct. However, we can't deny we are seeing some course correction happening. I mean, look at that Xbox showcase from last week. That shit was so fire. Like, literally every game they showed off looked good, even south of midnight. As much as we want to hate it because it's an SBI game, literally 4 straight bangers in a row as far as marketing goes. Now, who knows? The game's gonna be good.
I'm really not liking that game. I don't know why you like
I don't
that
give
game.
a shit. Why is everyone so up on that game? I don't get it.
I think it.
I
looks
don't know
pretty
either.
decent,
I think it looks good. Again, I'm not going to buy it. It's an SBI game. I'm going to Game Pass it for sure.
But we're gonna segue. We're gonna segue. Hold on, because we were talking about Ubisoft. So since we're talking about studio closures,
yes.
This is a nice one. See, this is how we're gonna cover more topics, right? I got to segue, cover 2 at the same time before super chats. You know what I mean? Ubisoft closes another studio.
You should pull up the Smash JT article covering this because it has the exclusive email that they
my
God.
That's fucking grifter, dude.
Go with what is this? Game industry? What
I'll bring up your
grifter.
website every single time if you actually play Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh man.
Look Support your own, Hypno. Support your own.
Anyway, apparently I'm his employee. What are you talking about? Support my own. According to his hater, I'm his employee, so I need my fucking paycheck. Anyway, Ubisoft closes another studio, announces layoffs at 3 more studios as part of an ongoing effort to prioritize projects and reduce costs. Now, we already know BioWare is probably on its way out with that Edmonton studio. I feel like at this point it's only a matter of time. As much as they may want to try to make it sound better than it actually is, it's a fucking bloodbath over there. I don't know if you guys saw Eddie's stream or video or whatever. I don't know if you saw anything past that 40-second clip that's going viral right now on Twitter, but if you watch her stream, she's literally freaking out because she's thinking like, wow, this company dropped me, and then she actually admits in that video that everybody's gone. So I don't know if she has insider information from maybe Corin Bush or whatever, but she's like, everybody's gone. She's freaking out because nobody's there that is part of or supporting representation anymore. She basically says that all the people that were supporting representation are gone.
Well, you're talking about BioWare right now, though, not
BioWare. I'm not talking about you. So I'm gonna go into. I'm just saying, like, in terms of the bloodbath that's happening over there, it's worse than they're ever gonna admit. That's obvious. Now, when it comes to Ubisoft, I mean, Ubisoft has been bleeding dry for a while now. But you know what's funny about Ubisoft? BioWare has been a 15-year failure, right? Where it's just failure after failure. That company has been subsidized by EA through and through for almost a part of 2 decades, right? With Ubisoft, they've been pretty okay up until recently. I mean, they did take a pretty big hit over the last couple of years to their stock.
Skull and Bones, the first quadruple A game of all time.
Right, but we're comparing
implosion.
We are comparing 2 to 3 years of their stock dropping from about 85% to BioWare just being a loser for 15 fucking years. So like Ubisoft is more of a recent thing. They just went quicker about it. They just had so many unbelievably high price failures because number one, they're a bigger studio, right? So they have a lot more money to play with. They had a lot more projects that they were going to release. They're more of like a yearly release
Ubisoft's
kind of.
Bigger or BioWare's bigger?
Ubisoft is bigger.
Okay, I just wanted the way you phrased that, BioWare, I was like, no.
Ubisoft is bigger, so they had a lot more projects that they can release. BioWare is more of like a one every few years kind of company. Ubisoft is like one every year kind of a thing. So
not
obviously
even that.
They had a lot.
Ubisoft isn't. BioWare is subsidized by EA. Ubisoft doesn't have that benefit.
No, I know. I said that. But
you did. I'm tripping. My bad.
No, it's all right. Stop playing Marvel Rivals. So I can see it in your fucking glasses, reflection. Anyway,
if you can see, this is the StreamYards tab.
Sure. So anyway, the the entire thing is
It's
a lot
fucking
more.
shit.
It's a lot faster with Ubisoft, and now they had Skull and Bones, X Defiant shut down. Star Wars Outlaws lost a ton of money, and now obviously Assassin's Creed Shadows. Prince of Persia lost them money. What else am I forgetting?
The Crew, Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora.
I'm talking about the really
flopped.
big failures. I don't think Avatar was a massive failure. I think it was a failure, but not a massive one.
They put a lot of money into Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. A lot
Did
of
they?
money.
Yeah, to be fair, how much? No, I don't think Ubisoft put a bunch of money into it. I think Universal or whoever owns the rights to Avatar put a lot of money into
They
it.
had
Yeah,
to
that's what
buy
I
the
thought.
rights though, so they had to purchase the rights
Well,
in order to make the game.
Not
That's
necessarily. They might have
expensive
had
as
They
hell.
already
a sales split or something.
no, they still had it from the OG Avatar game when they made back in the day, so they still had the rights to be able
Oh my
to do
god. I
Well,
forgot about
regardless,
that.
the big losses we already know, and obviously things aren't looking good. So they took all those losses in 1 year. Now the funny thing about Skull and Bones, and I'll let you guys kind of chime in after, is that Skull and Bones is, according to the rumors anyway. I mean, we don't know how true they are, but Skull and Bones is actually one of the biggest, if not the biggest, failures in gaming history. Like people think of Concord as the biggest failure in gaming history, but in fact, if the numbers are to be believed and the rumors are to be believed, then in all actuality, Skull and Bones is, financially
They
speaking,
spent
anyway,
more money on that apparently than
What was the
was
rumor
spent
at? Like 800.
on
it's
Concord.
600 to 800 million dollars. That's the rumor, and that was over.
No way,
10
really?
No, that's what they're
that was
saying.
over
Yeah.
10 years of
over
development.
10 years.
Well, you got to think about this, Leon. Hold on. I know it sounds crazy, but think about this. So, BioWare spent hundreds of millions of dollars over 10 years of development, and they're not as highly paid as Ubisoft. Like Ubisoft is definitely on the higher bracket ends of things when it comes to paid salaries and whatnot. And Skull and Bones was also over 10 years. Like I think what 11,
Amazing, isn't
almost
it?
12 years.
Dang,
It's
It was
10
almost,
years.
I didn't realize it went that deep. Holy
it
It's
shit.
10
started-
years. 10 years to take the fucking assassin stuff out of Assassin's Creed 4.
On top of that,
Yeah.
BioWare had what, 82 employees, and Ubisoft has like
Way
19,000
more.
20,000.
employees.
Yeah,
have
Skull and
to-
Bones
Yeah.
started
Not all
off
working
as
on Skull and Bones, but still, like it's a
So
lot.
Skull
started
and-
off as
Skull
a
and Bones-
spinoff from AC4.
from Black Flag, yeah, and
That's
it
what it was
ended up.
supposed to be.
All they did was like what Will say. They just took the fucking
Yeah.
content out of Black Flag and they tried to sell it to you as a quad A game that was going to change the world. And anyway, and did you guys see what he said afterwards? He tried to cope. He was like, "No, it wasn't that. It was a quad A game. It says that we had the hopes that after enough patches and years of service, it would become the world's first quad A game."
How can they say
tried to
it wasn't
change
the worst
story.
first quad A game when they invented the term for that fucking game?
I don't know, bro. But anyway, so at this point now, Ubisoft is bleeding out dry as well. So you guys can kind of chime in. Leon, you want to start off with this one?
I mean, I'll be real. I think people romanticize BioWare too much. Like, yeah, we get it. We all love the KOTOR games and whatnot, but how you gonna fuck up a fucking handheld Sonic RPG? I've never really been a fan of people glazing BioWare. They put out some good games. I think they put out far more shit than they have good stuff. Even before all the wokeness, political correctness, things like that. So I don't have much to say on them. At Ubisoft, I don't know. I'm more interested in the idea of Tencent buying them because Tencent's been putting out some bangers. And if I'm gonna get Kami slop, or if I'm gonna get I would rather have Chinese Kami slop than what we're getting from the fucking French. So it's that
Full
simple.
fat rather than Diet Coke, right?
Will,
Yeah,
what do you
full
think?
fat bingo.
Will, good. What do you think?
No, I mean it's inevitable again. It's the same fucking answer every time. This is all just what needs to happen. There's no point. I've said it all a million times now. The game industry is imploding. It's getting what it fucking deserves. It's reaping what it fucking sows. Nothing good has come out of Ubisoft or BioWare for a very, very, very long time. They're barely even relevant anymore, and they get what they fucking deserve.
Fair enough. Atreus?
When it comes to Ubisoft, I've never really cared about their games. So to me, like seeing them fall doesn't mean a goddamn
What?
thing
You're
to me.
black. How you never cared for Just Dance?
Oh my god. Wait. So hold on. Wait. So you never played like Far Cry or anything?
I haven't played Far Cry, but the only one that I like, the only Far Cry game
Let me
that I
guess,
like.
Primal.
That's crazy.
That was a subtle one. Come on. It's the spears. You can say it.
Chuck a spear.
No, actually, no. Primal isn't the one where you're playing as the fucking feral motherfucker. Is it? Is
Are you talking about Far Cry 5? Not 5, 6. Is
No,
it 6?
no,
You
it
talking
was-
about the
it
dude?
Hey, y'all can't
ago-
count. You
No.
can't read. What is going on with this Black
No, no, no,
History
no,
Month?
shut up,
I'm
shut up.
forgetting the games.
It's the
man.
one. It was the one I played it on 360. It's like where you get
Far
I
Cry
don't know,
3.
huh?
No.
Far Cry
know.
3 was the only
I
one on
remember playing
360.
I like how Kate is just like, oh, Far Cry 4?
Yo, let him
Let's
speak.
go through all the Far Cries.
Let him speak. Let him speak. Let Trey speak. Go ahead.
The one where you're playing is not. It's like you get like I don't know. I'm jumping across the fucking map. I'm damn near a monster. It's like
Oh, Blood Dragon. Are you talking about Blood Dragon?
I don't fucking know. I just know I was playing with a
Assassin's
friend.
Creed. I mean, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. That's what you're talking about.
I don't know, nigga. I just know it. The only reason why I said yeah with Primal because I now I remember Primal. It wasn't that one because you said Spears. It wasn't Spears. I know we was in the jungle and I was leaping across the map. It was like you was. I forgot what it was. But anyway, when it comes to Ubisoft,
Bro, you
games,
sound like you're describing Turok, not even fucking Far Cry. Like,
but it was almost like Turok. No, it was definitely Far Cry. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was Far Cry, first person. I'm jumping across the map like a fucking animal, killing my friend in the damn game. But
Hold
other
on.
than that,
The black people about to be bricked up in the chat right now. This is Far Cry Primal right here.
Oh my
that wasn't
god, no. That's crazy.
That wasn't it.
Wow.
So it had to be Blood Dragon.
It was Blood Dragon then. Yeah.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I guess so. But either way, and then Prince of Persia, you know, obviously that.
Which one?
But, I mean,
Lost Crown?
You know, huh?
The Lost Crown?
Yo,
No, he's just talking about in general.
dude, you know
I
they
mean,
had to
like, we're talking about,
restart
like-
development of Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, all because it was Ubisoft tried to do one giant virtue signal by getting a bunch of brown people to make the game. And it turned out they can't make video games and they had to scrap the whole fucking thing and start over. It's insane, yo. It is crazy. Yo, that's
It's
just
crazy
proof-
because she's not lying. That's the
that's
crazy
proof
part.
that it doesn't matter if they get rid, like right now specifically, if you want to make a turn immediately because your company is dying, just getting rid of the people that talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, that's not enough. You have a bunch of game developers that have no idea what the fuck they are doing, because when you look at Dragon Age the Veilguard, it's not just the virtue signals that's bad about the game. The mechanics are genuinely garbage. The game looks like shit. It looks like a PS3 360 game on hardware that's far more superior. Why is this happening?
I mean, Mark Alexis Cote, the fucking PR guy, the president of Assassin's Creed, was trying to dodge a headline that said basically the game was going to suck by saying, of course the devs think the game's going to suck. They've never made a video game before.
Yeah.
So in that, he just absolutely threw the entire studio under the bus and exposed the fact that they're just hiring a bunch of fucking diversity hire noobs who have no idea what the hell they're doing. Of course the game was trash, or is going to be trash.
I mean, look at it though. When's the last time you've had a Splinter Cell game from Ubisoft? What was it? Blacklist? That was the last one, and that was like 2011, 12 or some shit like that. One of their biggest franchises. They haven't made a Splinter Cell game. They're
Beyond Good and Evil 2 has been in development for what?
That's been in development since I was a
15
fucking
years?
child. Since I was a child. Okay, I remember that trailer. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be dope. We're like 15 years later, and it's still not out. Ubisoft is still, it doesn't matter what.
What was the first one? PS2?
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it is PS2 game.
PS2,
Yeah.
I think.
Fuck's sake, we've had 3 generations.
I think it was
while that
20
game has been in development.
So really quick, Savvy just posted something on Twitter. I know Lumi, I think, was talking about it in the chat, but very, very interesting to share with you guys. Let me bring it up on screen really quick. So if we look here, Savvy basically tracked 2 of the writers that were on Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and has confirmed that they are both on Ghost of Yote. So they are now.
I saw
they're now writing.
Let's give Lumi a bit of credit though for bringing this up in the chat and whatnot. So because this wasn't on tonight's docket.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Lumi was
just
talking about it in the
joined
chat.
Ghost of Yote, even though there's already a trailer out, they're still going to work on writing it.
Yep, it says right here, Mom, Senior Staff Writer, Sucker Punch Productions, Ghost of Yote, previously Star Wars, Dragon Age, Mass Effect, and apparently she wrote on, I don't know if it was Mass Effect 3, I think. Also, John Dombrow Also,
this is the nepotism that started Gamergate 1. There's only one reason these people would be able to continue to get hired, and that's because they've got friends.
Well, there might be
working
hope.
in these other
Like
companies.
these people left early
There's no
on
hope for
in the
that game.
development cycle, so maybe they're not as bad, and maybe they're like, yeah, I can't do this because these people here suck. Let me go to another
There's
company.
from what
Look
I
at the
was
last
told,
three
Bit
games
of
they
optimism
worked
is
on,
nice.
though.
on the
Look at the
inside
last
of
three
that
games they
game,
worked on. That's terrible. Mass Effect
Oh
Andromeda,
my God.
Anthem, and Veilguard, bro. Resume cooked. Oh
Oof.
my god.
Oof.
I actually
Anyway,
got
go ahead,
some
Kata.
insights to that one. I was about to say it on this game. No, this shit. If it goes the way that I was told, this shit's gonna be a fucking disaster. Because for what I was told back, remember when they dropped the trailer and I was the first one to go, "No, guys, it's not woke." No, so I was wrong. They did hire Erika Ishii for a specific reason because the creative director is a Marxist woman, and not only that, they also said that the main character was supposed to emulate, Erika Ishii's life, like like going through the trials and tribulations
Dude.
of being a woman and
Those
Kata, I
Yes,
being
want
married.
to take
so
this
hard.
moment. Hold on, I want to take this moment, Kata, to take the L because you was right, and I apologize.
I know I was, and there's actually worse because they
I was shit talking you on my live stream about this last night too. So like,
because the person that gave me the info, who's like very close with this stuff, he said
Oh
that they
shit,
were.
Kata's got insiders. Holy what?
I made this video like 4 fucking months ago.
I know.
That's how y'all know
Yeah,
y'all don't
I-
watch
I-
my
I-
shit.
Actually, yeah, I
Just
remember.
giving you a hard time.
insiders.
Don't-
I'll fucking
Smash,
I
you don't
remember
understand.
him saying he was going
Smash,
to make.
they don't
that
call them
video.
insiders, all right? They call them snitches. Like it's
That's
different in the
my
hood.
snitch.
Right?
There you go.
It's different in the hood. That's why you didn't know,
We
because
all
when they
know where
talk about it,
snitches
You
get.
start the
They're like-
video without, yeah, so this snitch just told me everything.
Exactly.
Just totally just do that.
Listen,
Like take that
fucking
word for it.
Will
Sounds
throw that
like-
in, throw that into the dictionary for you for black speak.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, fair
Most
enough.
of
I
the
will.
people that worked on the first Ghost of Tsushima aren't there anymore. So don't look forward to it being narratively as good as Ghost of Tsushima, because it will not be. And if the sales don't do as good as they're thinking, which it won't, don't expect it to be a sequel. Expect Ghost of Tsushima 2 to come out like in a few years or so. Because
So can I piggyback on that real quick? So I'm glad you mentioned that with the whole sales not doing well in comparison to the first one, because that seems to be a trend for Sony. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but Spider-Man 2 just came out.
Yeah.
All right, Spider-Man 2 just came out on Steam. All right, and over the weekend, obviously we're still in the weekend, so it's Saturday right now. We got to wait for tomorrow, but it looks like it's gonna basically stay where it's at. But over the weekend, and this is not a topic, I'm just bringing it up for comparison. 27,000 is the highest that it reached on Steam. Now, I want you guys to just keep a couple things in mind. Number one, Spider-Man, the first one, did about 65-ish thousand. So this game did probably a little over 1/3 or right about a little under 1/2, however you want to look at it. Compared to the first one, God of War Ragnarok, same exact thing. God of War Ragnarok didn't perform nowhere near as much as the first one. And also keep in mind, these games are underperformed by half or more than half of their predecessors. And that's after Sony just basically dropped their fucking pants and begged gamers to please buy our games by removing the requirement for PSN linking on these single player games that they just released now. They removed it on God of War because they were getting cooked. They removed it on Spider-Man 2. Nobody cared. They removed it on a couple of other games. I forgot which ones. But they basically pulled their pants down and said, please, we're sorry, buy our games on PC. We'll treat you with respect. It didn't matter. Like these games, these newer games that are coming out, that everybody's cooking them because they're not like the originals. And obviously they have a little bit of more of an agenda in them.
Well, just real quick, do you attribute that to Sweet Baby Inc. being involved with both those games?
Some of it, but not all of it. Not all
Yeah.
of it. I think it's unfair to say it's all SBI, right? I
No,
don't
that's
think
why I asked the question. I'm not taking the approach of SBI, fuck these games. I'm like, I
so
wonder how much of
PC
it had to do with it.
PC gamers aren't like, here's the thing, there's no FOMO involved because Spider-Man 2's already been out for like 15 months and then it comes out to PC. So at that point, like PC gamers like, this game's been out. We heard it's just okay at best. I'd rather wait for a deep sale. I've already waited this long. They don't really give a fuck at that point. I think more so it's just they don't have any FOMO for the games. But
Like, why would
them
you pay it
being
at
mid
full
doesn't help.
price? Why would you buy it at full price when you've waited 6 months after it's been out on a console anyway? You just wait for it to be on sale. Like,
I mean,
that's
most
how
PC
PC gamers are, man.
They're not gonna buy it. I mean, if they're mildly interested, they'll just see Jack Sparrow about that shit. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy it. I'll just
It's getting cooked on reviews there.
It is. It's
the
bad.
Port
It's
sucks. The port
it's
sucks.
very buggy. It's glitchy, apparently.
Yeah.
And obviously people just don't like Spider-Man 2. So there's a with PC gamers, they're not gonna. This is not a day one buy game. For a lot of people, it's not.
No, it's
and
not.
Nope.
it's unfortunate because their previous iterations were day one buy games for a lot of people, and you got SBI's involvement, obviously something you can't ignore. The fact that both these games are on the curator list that a lot of people follow, almost 500,000 people follow that. That's not a small number. And number two, just flat out, like you guys said, the game's been out 15 months already. It's got all the bad press around it. All the reviews are like, like below average around there, give or take, depending on if you're a super fan or not. So why would anybody want to run out and buy day one for a game that everybody already knows is kind of just like, it's not like a brand new release,
They screwed themselves by not being on PC at the same time, because it's been all of Gamergate and all the Sweet Baby Inc. backlash. And of course, Spider-Man 2 is a Sweet Baby Inc. infected game. So yeah,
correct.
No, absolutely no one's going to rush out and care when we've had a whole year and change to fucking acknowledge that this is not something that's attractive to gamers.
Yeah. I think it's a good example. Go ahead, Cassie.
To be fair, it also doesn't help that Sony waited till like the day before to actually promote this game. It wasn't even, it was wish listable, but it wasn't even pre-orderable until literally a day before. So that really doesn't help their case. They just didn't want to put up the money to actually promote the title that was coming out to PC. So I'm sure a lot of PC gamers didn't even realize that it came out.
I think they know full well that we are what we are doing with the Sweet Baby Inc. with the backlash with Gamergate 2. There's no point in spending a load of money to try and promote something you can't sell to gamers, because they are absolutely ignoring and objecting to every Sweet Baby Inc. game, radioactive as they are. So there was no point in spending the money to try and hype it.
Lumi, what are you thinking?
Honestly, it's like, I agree that if games aren't going to come out on PC along with the initial release, the PC sales are just going to be absolute shit. No one's going to care at that point. And it's like, with games coming out to PC, it's easier to get cheaper codes. It's easier to put on your fancy little pirate hat and start modding the things you don't like. And it's like, no matter what like Nexus Mods tries to do to, snipe them down, there are other mod hosting sites. Nothing's going to stop people.
Yeah, you can't stop people from doing what they want. Yeah.
PC gamers get what they want, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
The reception.
I think it's hilarious seeing
nothing but mid, man. Like,
if you want to sell a game to PC gamers, it's going to have to be something like Stellar Blade, something that people actually want to play.
They're already modding MJ's face. I just sent in the private chat.
Perfect.
Really?
That's crazy.
I mean,
the private chat, I just sent it.
Day and date went with good game titles like Helldivers 2 resulted in PC gamers actually carrying that game. It was definitely a lot more PC gamers playing Helldivers 2 than it was actual PlayStation gamers.
I love this mod. The fact that it says the mod everyone wanted. That's the entire description.
Yo, it says game came out 1 day ago. LOL.
Yeah,
bro.
Spider-Man 2
about to be bad.
Like the code for the game for it to be pirated got cracked another 2 minutes after it got released.
Yep.
There is a war.
You can't fuck with PC gamers, man.
You can't fuck with PC gamers, and now it's really hard to try to protect from that with people using AI to crack stuff, because AI can break through any code right now. You're like, okay, just brute force attack that shit until it gets through. 2 minutes later, all right.
Keep an eye on this mod.
This is uploaded. I was gonna say this is uploaded today. Yeah, February 1st. So
keep an eye on it. If it gets banned, then you know what's going on.
Oh yeah, I got my video ready. Nexus mods, bans mod.
Yes, it's been so much fun. It's been so much fun, Gamergate 2, because it's completely fucking unstoppable. There are too many people with too much skill, too much talent.
You're getting sued.
Yeah. Okay. Well, apologies for that, buddy. But too many people. We're having too much fun, and just you can't stop all of us. You can't stop one of us. We're never gonna give up with this, because they
just... Hey, the more of us again. Let's go.
Do I still even have
really
that clip?
Is that?
Back to the more of us. I love it. There's more of us.
I do have the clip. Hold on, I do.
Remember, there are more of us.
There are more of us. There are more of us.
There are more of us.
There are more of us.
There are more of us.
There are more of us.
There are more of us.
There are more of us.
There are more of us.
There are more of us.
There are more of us.
There's that fucking bitch right at the end there who low-key fucking went insane.
Catfish.
Yeah,
that's not an actual woman. That's a dude. That catfish Cal Katarn, Mr. I can't speak to black people.
That was it.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, we all knew this was gonna happen, this mod, so I'm not surprised. But yeah, I look forward to Nexus mods banning that for inclusivity, of course, or some other fucking excuse that they're gonna come up with. But yeah, man, it's a wild climate out there. It is wild what's happening, and we're gonna keep going over it.
They really don't. If they decide they're going to ban that mod, then that is just going to galvanize people even more against them.
Oh yeah,
everything, every move they make makes us more powerful.
Well, that's why these mods come out so fast now, because people already know that the bullshit's going to go down the moment they release this mod. So they're trying to get it in many hands as possible, get people to download it as much as they can, because Nexus Mods is going to ban it, and then they'll just move on to other websites. So it is what it is.